You're gonna seem richer than you actually are. Ignore my neck, I just scrubbed it in the shower. I just started working at this very nice, expensive country club. There's a lot of new money and there's a lot of old money. And the difference between old money and new money is really obvious. These are just my observations of what people with money tend to do differently. First thing I noticed that they do is they always introduce themselves first and last name. They would never say, hey, I'm Bella. Like, it's always Bella Dane, nice to meet you. They always say first and last name, and they say it with a lot of pride and a nice firm handshake. When you give the first impression that I'm important and my name is important, kind of set the tone for how people view you. The second thing I notice is that they speak slowly, confidently, and calmly. This isn't true all the time, but I definitely notice that their speech is much slower and it makes them seem really sure of themselves. They're not rushing to get through a conversation or need to say something. Most of them seem to be really good listeners. In a conversation, they're not thinking about what they're going to say next. They're genuinely just presently listening to what the other person is saying. Okay, this next tip is a fashion tip, but they do not wear big ass brand logos like plastered across their purses and their belts. Money talks, but wealth is silent. When I see a woman walk in really high quality, really well-made clothing, very stylish pieces, and there's no logo or brand on anything, I know she's richer than everyone else. I've kind of always said this, and I was fortunate enough to be educated on it from a really young age, but they all have quite refined palates. They know what quail eggs are, they know what's in a Cosmopolitan, and yeah, a lot of them still do order chips and queso and nachos and things like that. It's not like a pretentious sort of thing, just knowledgeable about food and alcohol. Last thing I noticed is that when they walk into a room, they're never on their phone. They're looking down or fumbling with their bag, and I used to think this was just like a coincidence, but after a while of working there, I was like, they're definitely making sure that they're like prepared and put together before they enter the room. And they always enter with their chin up, they look around the room, scan the room, they smile, and they're always extremely interactive with the bartenders and the staff. Always the really young, like a Vineyard Vines boys that have been in there 4 times and learned what a gimlet is. Ones that are always assholes, but like the ones that are really, really wealthy are always nice. Like, these are things that, yeah, they're good to convince people you have more money than you do, but they're also just tips on how to come off as more classy and refined.